Yeah, I agree with that. I think I understand what you're saying. I don't know if it's necessarily about the what ifs. It is the what can be's.
Mhm.
It's the I don't want my grandkids to have to start where I started. Like, if any of our grandkids had to start where we're at in a basement apartment or something like that, like,
Garage apartment.
Garage
Yeah.
apartment,
garage
yeah.
apartment, like, what would it take for you to like, everything you and Tab have worked for, everything you provided Jasmine, like, imagine your grandkids, like, they have to start all over. I didn't like my I think that, like, when I talk about my friends that went to college and we're talking about second, third generation college students and the successes they're having and the way they're able to build and do certain things, that's what I'm working for. I don't want anybody that comes after me to deal with what I had to deal with. I'm not saying they're gonna be as successful as we are or whatever the case may be. What I'm saying is they shouldn't have to start over. And there's people out here struggling. My grandkids shouldn't have to drop out of college and pay and beg and do whatever to get $1,200 to get back in school, whatever those things are. So if there's a way to say, okay, I know people taking that scenario off the board where they only give the kids so much and they leave more for the grandkids because, like, look, hey, I we worked our lives to make sure our kids are good. I don't know what they're gonna do. I've done everything I need to do for you. I don't owe you anything. What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy Ferg. Join my co-host Razi and Buff and Razi. Fellas, it's been too long since we've been gone, whatever the rest of the words are. But what it do?
The show before the show, that's always a good indication for the show, man. We done already stretched and warmed up, did all the calisthenics and whatnot. So we good to go, man. But a lot has happened since we've been gone, man. We did the joint show with Truth Be Told Sports, man.
I thought that was our show, man. My bad.
Yeah. I think it was, but a couple of people that listened to the show, they was like, man, where y'all been at? I was like, yo, we just did a joint show. So check that out if you haven't. Go to Truth Be Told Sports podcast page on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on our YouTube page too, so it's under our live shows, so you can check it out on our YouTube channel there. So go check it out there. I think it's the folks who listen to us by audio only. Those are the folks that probably haven't heard us because we used that show for last week and then we didn't record because that was on a Monday, so it was just it was some confusion on our part. So we apologize for that, folks.
So man, I was gonna hit a couple of things real quick before. Well, just a couple of things that took place since we've been gone, man. One, these are things that I found interesting. Comedian Tracy Morgan, I think he was leaving a Knicks game, and he's signing autographs. And he's not a childhood friend; he's more like a childhood acquaintance, something like that. But he's homeless now, and he's asking Tracy for some money. And he's like, "Nah, I remember you. I remember you used to bully me or whatever like that." And as always with anything, the internet reacted and said how he should have given him some money, and that was when they were kids. He should let that go. He shouldn't be hanging on to that, man. I'm not trying to turn this into a question, but yes or no? Should he have helped the brother out or no?
No, I don't owe anybody anything.
There it is. Yeah.
Big ever walk up to me and be like, "Hey, I'm homeless."
Hey, man, edit that.
Like,
hey, edit that out. We don't use names on this show, bro.
Man.
Okay. An artist formerly known as Big walk up to me like,
bruh. It's like if he wanted to give him something, cool, but he's not obligated. And that's something we love to do as a society, is to spend other people's money.
Even if he was nice to him in high school, or
exactly.
You're not obligated.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Even the way dude was asking, he was kind of aggressive with it. He was like, "I'm homeless, boy. Like, what's up, boy? You need to hook me up." So I just thought that was interesting, just seeing how people were treating him. What I also found interesting, y'all all know Kev on stage. I guess he's a comedian. He's a
Yeah.
comedian, right? So all he did was simply tweet it. Just got my annual checkup. Black man, go get your physical
checkup. It's the
Listen.
comments. It's always the comments.
I thought we as men were further along, but I was proved a little bit wrong. For those of you who didn't follow that, some of the responses to that was, I'm good, but do you? Someone posted, what you mean, with a crying emoji. Another person put, nigga got fingered and trying to tell us to go. A lot of people thought this was, they were confusing with a prostate. I don't know if they confuse annual with anal. I don't know. But an annual physical is not a prostate. That's completely different for the people that don't go to the doctor. Another comment was, nope, stay healthy by constantly working out, eating right, and being active. And another one said, did you tweet this with his finger up your ass? And that brother in particular has 10,000 followers and has a show called World News with Lou or something like that. So it's just, I guess I just overestimated, because, you know, we always talk about the progress we've made on like mental health and just men taking care of themselves much better. And I do feel like we have progressed in the right way, but it just was kind of shocking for me to see so many ignorant comments that are still out there. Ladies, be careful. Like y'all are sleeping with these brothers. These niggas is not going to the doctor.
It's not. Yeah,
well, I mean,
women do it too, but
yeah, women do it too. But you know, there's the red
I
pill
know women take
mafia out
better
there.
care of themselves for the most part.
Yeah.
But you know, you got to think. There's people that follow RFK Jr. right and think he's the smartest person alive. Like, so, you know, there are people out there that are anti-science, taking care of themselves, anti-health. Like,
God got us.
God got us, right? Like, yeah, that's them.
Razi, you giving people too much credit. I don't think they're anti-science. I think niggas just ignorant. Like, I think there's a difference. And I think
That's
there's
true.
Science people who have another belief system or some false facts that contradict what has already been proven.
And some of that ignorance, man, I think is masking either lack of insurance or financial stability. Also just pure ignorance. And so
that's what I'm talking about.
And so you just double down and say, I'm not going, it's just a way for the pharmaceutical companies to make money off of you by going to the doctor. Like, there are people that really think like that, but I think that's really masking, like, they're just scared. They're scared to go. A lot of men are scared to find out what's wrong with them, or like, they just don't feel like they can afford it, man. So it's kind of sad, like, beyond the, like, laughing at some of these comments, it's kind of sad that grown, I assume, well-thinking humans think this way, man. So
you give them too much credit, Buff.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some of the shortest lifespans.
Right.
I'm assuming these are brothers. I'm just,
Yes, because he specifically mentioned black men go, which that caused some negative comments from white men too. Why didn't you just say all men?
No, yeah, y'all go. But we've normalized being unhealthy. I mean, that's kind of part of the culture. It's
the ancestors ain't go to the doctor like that, and they was fine.
They also died at 52.
Right,
man. The only other thing I got, man, is y'all boy. He's big on his tariffs, right? With the Supreme Court just struck down, by the way. But 2025 turns out those tariffs led to a record-breaking $1.2 trillion trade deficit. So, way to go, bro. Way to go.
It's worse. Because he put the trade. The funny thing is, he used the trade deficit as the reason why he was putting the tariffs on. And then they ended up causing a larger trade deficit because people stopped buying from us.
And gave China a surplus. They're looking at a $1.5 trillion surplus.
Mhm.
So that's y'all boy though. He's so smart. He's so smart.
Has no idea about economics. Oh, and then he threw a tantrum and said he's doing a 10% across the board tariff on top of the ones that actually
Universal.
were able to, yeah, universal tariff, because he's going to get around that. So we got to go back to court for that. I mean, the market just has to try to react to what he's doing, and it's so sad, man. It's so sad. There, that's all you got,
That's a
Buff.
yeah, and that's a Supreme Court in his favor too. They ruled
Hmm.
6-3 against him, and
Yeah.
he is a 6-3 conservative court.
Yep.
It's still funny that 3 people no. Was your boy one of the people that voted with
I'm
him?
sure that my guess would be which one was it that had the I think the MAGA flag in his front yard? Or he had something like that. I
Was
think it
that
was Alito.
Kavanaugh?
Was it
It was Kavanaugh, Alito, and
Thomas?
Thomas?
Thomas. Yep.
They were the three.
I
Those were
always
the three.
assume I
Okay.
always assume
Yeah, assume Thomas. Yeah, always assume Thomas. Yep. So yeah,
Yeah, that's all I
I was
got,
about
though,
to
bro.
say Ruckus, but that's why I was holding it back. So I appreciate you throwing Thomas out there on that one.
Trust them, no. Go ahead.
Um, I'm glad you were talking about so many comedians because I wanted to just talk a little bit about our like our age group of comedians have dropped specials. So there was some more that dropped a new special. Cat Williams got a new special. Who else
Mike
was it? Day
Epps.
Day. Mike Epps got a new
Call
one.
him Day Day.
exactly because he goes back into day-day mode every stand-up. I
Hmm.
can't separate him from the character.
Yeah, and they all kind of suck. All three of the specials, I think I got 4 or 5 laughs out of all three total. So I need the greats to come back and drop something funny. I was disappointed in Cat Williams. I expected a lot more out of his, but
I have no expectations for Cap. He has to me has failed to grow as a comedian.
Yeah,
really,
after his first 3 specials, to me, it's been downhill for him.
yeah.
Yeah, like he
Once he shed the pimp mentality and all the, everything
Yeah,
since then. So
because that
yep,
was like the Pimp Chronicles. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So once he shed that, I think he didn't. His stand up became really blah. It was more talking. I think he tried to go more that Dave Chappelle kind of explaining life and making it funny, but he's just not good at that. I think he needs to go back to the character type thing that he was doing.
I think what was surprising for me, because this is actually his second special since the Shannon Sharp interview.
Hmm.
I really thought he was going thought he was going to capitalize on that Shannon Sharp interview. I'm like surprised that he wasn't able to come up with better, just more entertaining material.
he tried to capitalize.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
mean, it was the opportunity was there.
yeah,
It's just he swung and missed.
Yeah. I mean, but ultimately, he got his money from Netflix. Netflix paid him up front. It's not like he's
Well, I
getting
ain't
like
mad at the
on the back
business.
end. So
I'm not mad at the business,
he's doing
but
what he needed to do. And the same with some more. The audio was so horrible on hers. I don't know. It was bad. Like it was almost like an echo behind her on there. So her
yeah,
audio was bad.
she's getting canceled in Jacksonville.
But yeah,
Like
I heard about that. So she made a joke about somebody dying or
getting
something like that
a
at
shooter
Dollar
coming
General,
in,
right? Yeah, or
and
the dollar store.
yeah.
she's like, "Hey, if I get cleared at Dollar General July and sell them, it was like CVS or Walgreens or something like that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Well, I actually was going. I know this isn't your question, Razi, but I was going to speak to because you specifically said our generation of comedians, and I'm wondering because we've seen this big shift as everybody revisits the past, like the America's Next Top Model documentary. I'm wondering, are our comedians finding it difficult to navigate that to where there are a lot of things that were a lot more acceptable 20 years ago that, like you just said, some more made that joke. I don't think people push back like that in the early 2000s like they did for this. So I wonder, and I think Dave Chappelle is probably one of the few, and they definitely tried to cancel him, but
Mhm.
he withstood it. But I think he's one of the few people that's been able to navigate it or even withstand it.
well, Dave Chappelle goes for the shot. I'm gonna go because I feel like this is a good conversation. I just want to talk about comedians because we in the world we live uh in the past, comedy was kind of you kind of had free range. You talked about the things that were going on in the world. We are supposed to be, to me, I look at them as the comical philosophers of our world. Like they're supposed to be observant. They're supposed to see things that we don't see or notice, make light of it, and kind of give us a different way of looking at it. What else you got, Razi? I think that if y'all want to go there, I think we can talk about it and then talk about some good comedians.
Yeah, I mean, we can. I just want to hold off to the end for that one. The only other thing I wanted to talk about was Jesse Jackson passed, and so thoughts, prayers to that family. He was a icon, right? He really was an icon there. And say what you want about him. Folks say he really didn't do much to like push anything forward, right? It was just like he was kind of riding the wave a little bit, but at the same time, he really fought and he was there on the front lines every step of the way for civil rights, all the way up until his death. So I am a little mad about Speaker Johnson not wanting to let him lie in state, but I get it. It's one that I'm disappointed but not mad about because I can see where he wouldn't let him do that. I'm not going to ask Buff's opinion on that one. I know he might not be able to comment on that, but I will say that I am disappointed but not surprised, and I can see both sides of not letting him lie in state, but he should have let him lie in state. I mean, he was definitely an icon. But that's all I got, man. So we can jump in. Bert.
So, couple things. This whole it's getting hot in these streets globally with the U.S. and Iran kind of jockeying for position. Um, some people think this might be, and we've heard it multiple times, the lead up to World War III because of not necessarily because of Iran's capabilities, but more so because of the allies and partners that we each party has that makes any alliances and things become global, right? I think they were practicing naval exercises with Russia this week, and so it's a lot. So, how do you guys feel about that? Is it just another flash in the pants, or is it Trump is the wrong person to be at the helm? Well, he's always the wrong person to be at the helm, but is this is this different because this guy is not a politician? He's not. I don't know. I mean,
Unfortunately for me, because of in my opinion, who this administration is, I can't trust the motives of nearly anything they do. And so, you know, we had the whole thing with Venezuela and now this, and if I'm not mistaken, he's almost put himself in a position where he can't back down. Like war is imminent because you guys may know better than I do, but I think we already have like, fighters nearby or at the ready
Hmm.
to get ready to attack. And so he damn near can't back down unless Iran agrees to everything that they're asking for or whatever. So
that's called diplomacy, though. Like you can back down at any time.
him, can he?
He's Taco. Of course he can back down.
That is
This
a
is
great
Trump,
point,
right? This
Razi.
is this is what he does, right? He blusters, he puffs his chest out, and when his bluff gets called, he backs out. So
And
I
then he's
definitely
gonna
think
spin
he
it like he
can.
avoided the U.S. going to
Yeah, and he'd be
war.
like, I should get the peace prize because I didn't bomb Iran. It's like, nigga, you the one that threatened to bomb Iran. You don't get the peace prize for that. Like he already talked about he should be giving himself the Medal of Honor.
You just called him the N word.
Yeah, like so, but it's that Johnny Walker. That's what it is. See, y'all got me
Yeah.
loose.
This
do,
dude.
do not let me drink before we record. But
Yeah, put it down, sir. You just need to make sure you edit before.
but no, I think the thing about it is Iran is going to be Iran, and they are going to defend their borders and their sovereignty and everything else. And the problem with Trump, with almost like you say, you can't trust what he does is he does not look at second and third order effects of anything. He doesn't look at the ripple effect. That's why he bankrupt so many times. He's like, "Ooh, I think this is a good idea. Let's do it," and doesn't think about what's going to happen and what's going to ripple from that. And so that's why he has to backtrack on so many things he does, is because he just tries it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, man, I'll back away from it, which is why we had this deficit after the tariffs. That's why, we did Venezuela, and then all of a sudden, he's funneling money to, you know, Qatar. And so, the what is it, the Council of Peace or whatever it is, and so he's funneling money there. He's just creating slush funds that he can control after he leaves the presidency there. So it's all what's in it for him, and that's really all that he thinks about. And I don't really think it's him. I want to say it. I really think it's Headset. That's really the person that's really pulling the strings on this and being a war hawk and just wants to go in and, well, I got pretty bombs, let's use them. Like, that's ultimately what I feel like. He's a kid, like, playing army, playing with the toys, and he wants to use them, not thinking about how much they cost. Like, does it make sense to put $100 million bomb on a boat with $20,000 worth of narcotics? It just doesn't make sense, right? Like, the trade off there is not there, but he doesn't care because he wants to play with his toys. Um, and I think it's the same thing with Iran. Like, we Iran, the old Iran deal that we had even before Trump, we were going in, we were inspecting, we were doing everything right. Even if they were hiding stuff, moving some nuclear material around, we were slowing them down enough that it wasn't that big of a deal. And now you're almost forcing them to become nuclear with the threat of invading them. They need a nuclear deterrent. And so you have to get your friends, right? If somebody's bullying me and saying that they're gonna, like, mess up me up and get in front of my car and start jumping on it and stuff, my friends are gonna come help me. That's what happens. So Russia's gonna come, South Korea, North Korea is gonna come. That's just what happens. Again, that second and third order effects, Trump doesn't care about it. He doesn't look at it. He doesn't understand it because he's too dumb. So it really is just going to be, if it happens, it happens. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to chicken out like he always does there. And if he does drop a couple bombs, he might throw some drones in there. Iran will retaliate, and then they'll say, "Oh, we're good," and do another 7-day war. That's, I think, probably what's going to happen. Worst case scenario. So I'm not too worried about it.
I guess I guess that's good. I mean, you boys watching the Winter Olympics?
Nah, I don't like the Winter Olympics. I don't like ice, so it just doesn't do it for me. See, I'm shivering already.
Yeah,
Goosebumps.
it's funny because I'll jump on a Teams call and there's so many people like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, let me turn it down." They got the Winter Olympics in the background. It's like, "Oh yeah, that bike." I keep forgetting. I think I watched about 20 minutes of skiing today, maybe 10, 15.
I did watch a couple curling events.
So
Y'all,
there's some big controversy. Curling is the worst.
it's it's like
It
shuffleboard. It's like, it's fun to watch
the mo
sometimes.
No, it's not. It's 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 like shuffleboard. It's I get there's some skill behind it, but it's not athletic.
It's
No, it's
smooth.
not.
It's
It's
not
not
aggressive.
no,
That's
it's
like,
no,
what's the
no,
difference in
it's
that and
not.
archery
It's not.
or shooting or something like that? I'm trying to get my thing
It's
in the
it's
target.
it's skillful. It's not athletic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess. But no, Rise, I'm going back to what you said. Every time I hear something that Trump does, it and I know I shouldn't say this, but I go back to that different world scene during the wedding where Whitley's mom stopped the wedding when Dwayne proposed and she's like, just die. Just die. That's kind of my this thought like that scene pops up in my head. It's like, man, just dude, come on. You're talking about jockeying for position after he's not president, and was like, this thing, just dang, like
Uh,
we don't need 10, 20 years of you not being the president and having political. I mean, at this point, with all the things he's doing, him being the president might be the better situation just because there are still some checks and balances. When he becomes the Führer of what is it, the new NATO that he's trying to create? What you
the Council of Peace or whatever it is.
yeah, the cops. When he's Führer of the cops, what are the checks and balances?
Yeah.
Russia's gonna stop you from doing something evil?
All right. Supreme Chancellor for the Star Wars geeks out there.
Yeah,
That's
so
what he's trying to be. So
yeah, so
it's but JD's no better. That's the problem there. Like you get rid of Trump, you still have JD for the next 2 to 3 years.
but
He's not gonna win the
he's not
presidency.
charismatic.
He's not
He can't get
charismatic,
away
but
with that stuff.
he'll finish out this term and he'll be able to do it because like he's not
People
charismatic, but he's smart and he can
but
still do
nobody's
these
scared. They're
things.
not scared of him. It's like Debo's gone. Like you can't. He's little Joker. Like he's not the same character. He's not scary anymore.
Yeah.
Once he leaves office, once he leaves this world,
You don't think he's gonna leave
depending on
office?
the damage that's been done, I think things will start to right size themselves. Like it's because nobody can get away with the stuff, and they don't need that same political pull. I forgot who's running for, I think Senate or something. I saw Alabama ad where it was he didn't say anything he did, but it was just like, and he's fully endorsed by Trump. Trump endorsed him fully. Like that is a political, I've called it before. It's a new party. It's the Orange Party. MAGA is the Orange Party, and nobody can carry that flag like he does. So I think, I mean, I'm assuming most politicians are smarter enough to know he's an idiot, but they're also smart enough to hitch themselves to that wagon, right?
Yeah.
If
Same way
you
Katie
know,
Britt, as soon as she messed up, he was like, she's dead to me. And she was like, oh, nope, nope. We're still good. We're still good.
yeah. So let's go
Uh,
ahead and go jump into it. Y'all know who Lil Papa is?
Little Papa. No. Like Big Papa?
I just got a alert on New York Post. Rapper Lil Papa fatally shot himself in front of horrified manager after crashing his car.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have no idea who that is. So
I'm not in these streets, so I don't know. I don't know if you guys were more hip to what was going on.
no. So is it on me? Is that what we
Yeah, yeah.
okay. All right. I'm on it. Let's see. Yeah, I want to ask this one. Okay. So I was just scrolling and came across this billionaire that was talking about how he won't keep his kids in the will unless they sign a prenup when they get married. And so I wanted you guys' opinions on that. We aren't billionaires, but I think we are to the point where we will be passing down some generational wealth to our kids at this point. And so, with that being said, would you require your child to have a prenup before you say, "Hey, I'm giving this to you. I'm giving this money to you," or if not, I'm cutting you out of the will? Can y'all hear me? I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right. So, did y'all get the question? I know it froze for a second.
We would require them to get a prenup before they got married.
Yeah, yeah. Or we cut them out of the will. Like,
Was there any other parts?
Yeah, was
no,
there
I mean, like I
any
said,
other
it was a
parts to it?
billionaire, so he no, that's it. It's just like the billionaire, right? It's like, hey, I'm gonna be giving you 300 million, $400 million.
Mhm.
You gotta have a prenup because that's not going to
Um,
your
Let
spouse
Ferg go
when
first
you
on that
die.
one.
I don't think I necessarily would, but I've never thought about it. I didn't even know that was an option, first of all.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
never thought about it. But depending on the accumulation of wealth and what it took to get there, we know in the world we live in, we stay in a very litigious society. People are looking for the come up, and yeah, people are looking for the come up. And so, what do you do to protect your generation, your lineage? I guess it's if you leave Jasmine with all these assets while they're married, the partner will have access to those assets. They will benefit from those assets, right? And if they build while they're married as they should, they will start creating their own assets. And for whatever reason, if they get divorced, that is what they built. It was almost like you're almost fronting a loan, right? It's if I'm looking at it correctly, it's hey, I left you $500,000. You were able to invest in, you took that, you were able to invest in properties, you were able to do this, you were able to do that, which caused you were able to get a certain way of living. You benefited from that. If it doesn't work out, now if you guys created your own path after that, that's fine. You could talk about the things that happened after you guys got married, but you know, I I need to protect I'm not against protecting the generations and things to come because we're seeing, I think, especially now, so many people go for it in these nasty divorces, you know?
I like Ferg. That's not something I even ever thought of, but I think I'm gonna lean towards no as far as giving her the ultimatum uh, to either do a prenup or I'm not gonna put you in the will. I feel like it's something that I would encourage her to do and definitely tell her, "Hey, this is what I think you should do." But at the end of the day, usually when you accumulate that type of wealth to pass down, you did it for them. You didn't do it for them like under certain stipulations. So you did it for them. Let her live her life. In this hypothetical case, let him live his life. Um, and you just hope that she makes the right decisions. And you tell her like, "Hey, this is what I think you should do. This will protect you. Under any type of different situation." But I don't think I would. I don't think I would do that.
I'm gonna change my answer. I'm gonna play it safe. Um, I'm not once again, I'm not against it at all. Um, there might be different amounts. Like it might be tiered because at the end of the day, if I'm leaving you a substantial amount and you can start doing things that you want with it and it betters your life and their partner's life, great. Like I shouldn't feel guilty that going back, let's say $500,000, just throwing a number out there, and now you get $250,000. I shouldn't be losing sleep because you only got $250,000. It's like we're not obligated to pass, especially for adults. We're not obligated to pass you anything. I raised you, I put you in a situation where you should have the tools. We talked about this in shows before. Our kids are almost going to have to try to fail. Try really hard to fail. And so I'm saying I'm protecting you, what we work for, your mother and I, whatever. And we don't know, especially and a lot of times they're probably asking because they might see something that you might not see. It might be the writings on the wall. She gonna make your life hell, and she's here for the money, or he's here for the money. He's gonna rub you the wrong way. Don't trust this dude. But hey, the best to for you guys. Like I don't have to be anti you. I'm just being pro team for generations and generations to come. So the other 250,000 might sit in a trust fund collecting interest for my grandkids when they become, 20, 30 years from now, when they become eligible to receive these funds, and maybe that same stipulation. And that way you can keep growing it until, because
That
I know people who don't get
you
their
hit
kids
the
money
you
just because
you
that
hit the nail on the head.
so
That actually was going to be my answer was that I'm for that at a certain amount, right? Like there's going to be some money that's no stipulations on it, right? Like and I don't know what it is right now, versus what it is, 20 years from now, right? Like they may be totally different amounts, right? But I just know how much insurance I have now. I know how much the kids are going to get right now, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Is if you're trying to get married, maybe you get half as much if you don't want to sign a prenup, because then you can split that. You can do whatever you want to do with that. That's the half that you would have kept. You can have that with no stipulations, right? And so the other half that he was gonna take, that's going in a trust for my grandkids. There, so I'm putting it in a trust, and it's gonna get used for them. That's how I look
I
at
like
it.
that.
So I will kind of look at it like that, where if you don't want to get a prenup where you're gonna keep it all, then I'm gonna keep it
Let
all
me
for
take
you.
half.
Right, I'll take the half. He ain't getting half.
I didn't think about it like that. Like somebody's getting half. It don't work.
But this is all tied to your will, assuming that once you pass away, this is how you're choosing to divvy up the money.
Right,
But
right.
you have a guarantee, or is it
I'm
a?
dead, bro. Like, I don't know how y'all look at death. I know we say the whole such and such looking down on you,
No, I'm
proud,
not even that.
but I'm dead. So,
I'm dead, but like
you know, like,
I'm building generational wealth
how
for
much
not
does it
just
mean to me?
how much
No, it's not about me. It's
right.
not me.
It's
I'm
about
fine
it's about my
regardless.
kids, my grandkids, my great grandkids, right? And so I've seen too many times where a daughter, right, marries the wrong guy and he screws her over. And now my daughter has no money after I gave them $250,000, $500,000, and he used it all up while they were married or whatever. And then, leaves, takes half or whatever, and she's broke or she doesn't have as much, and then he doesn't even give it to the kids, right? There's deadbeat dads that actually leave and like, nope, this is my money, right? Go create a whole new family, and that money is over there with the new family. And so now my grandkids, my great grandkids, don't get to take advantage of those assets and that money. That's what I'm looking at. It's like I built this. Studies show that 2 generations after you build the money, it's going to be gone anyway, right? So so that's
I
another part
just,
of that. And so I'm just
I
trying to
just,
make sure that it's set up in a way that that money can last as long as possible.
well, first, I think you're leading with the premise that they're gonna make a bad decision in marriage, and that's gonna happen. But also, there are so many ways to lose money. So many ways. And like, she might marry the perfect person, but still lose it another stupid way. Or you're not going to be able to protect them from all the different ways. So I don't know.
That's a good point.
I don't, I think you're doing a lot of worrying about a whole lot of what ifs, and you'll never be able to cover all the what ifs.
Yeah, I don't. I agree with that. I think I understand what you're saying. I don't know if it's necessarily about the what ifs. It is the what can be's.
Mm,
It's the I don't want my grandkids to have to start where I started. Like if any of our grandkids had to start where we're at in a basement apartment or something like that, like
garage apartment.
Garage apartment,
garage
yeah.
apartment, like what would it take for you to like everything you and Tab have worked for, everything you provided, Jasmine? Like imagine your grandkids, like they have to start all over. I did like my I think that like when I talk about my friends that went to college and we're talking about second, third generation college students and the successes they're having and the way they're able to build and do certain things, that's what I'm working for. I don't want anybody that comes after me to deal with what I had to deal with. I'm not saying they're gonna be as successful as we are or whatever the case may be. What I'm saying is they shouldn't have to start over. And there's people out here struggling. My grandkids shouldn't have to drop out of college and pay and beg and do whatever to get $1,200 to get back in school, whatever those things are. So if there's a way to say, okay, I know people taking that scenario off the board where they only give the kids so much and they leave more for the grandkids because like, look, hey, I'm we worked our lives to make sure our kids are good. I don't know what they're gonna do. I've done everything I need to do for you. I don't owe you anything. I've said we're
And
gonna
I
set our
think it
What to
it
set our kids up for
changes, yeah,
success.
as they get older, right? Like the thing about it is if we make it to our 60s and 70s, our kids are in their 30s and 40s, right? At that point. They've got houses, they're established, right? So me dying at that point, they're probably already married, right? And so at that point, it's like, do I force it when they're 23? Do I force them to have a prenuptial? Well, I don't even think I'm gonna die. I ain't even really worried about it right now. And I can see it happening versus I'm 73, kind of sick, might be dying, and you ain't married yet, and all this. Is like at that point, it's like, all right, I got to think. I might not never meet this guy. I don't know if I can kind of sign off on this guy, not that type of thing. It's just a way to kind of think about protecting your kids.
So you have 3 kids, Ferg, you got 2, I got 1. So in any of our situations, if none of the kids say no, I feel like that's starting my marriage off wrong. I don't want to do that. Where are you leaving your money to?
Probably a
Put it in
trust.
trust and
Yeah, I put it in a
leave them with
trust.
the grandkids. Because I've done right by my kids.
Mm.
We work hard. We've done everything we need to do. Right. I don't think there's much more that can be asked of us. I don't owe them, like Tracy Morgan. I don't owe that person anything, right?
I'm homeless,
It's
boy.
yeah, like, hey, you're not gonna have you're probably not gonna have student loans. Probably help you pay a payment on your. I'm probably gonna buy your first car. I'm probably going to help you put a down payment on your first house. There's things I'm going to do, and my wife and I are going to do for our kids that set them up for success. And my goal is as far down as I can go because my kids might not just not even the marriage thing. They might not be able to do that for their kid, their kids, my grandkids. My thing's like I've done everything I need to do for your mom and dad. Let granddad help you, or your grandparents help you in case your parents can. And that starting those things. I mean, being in sales, you meet a lot of well-to-do people, and you just hear some of these stories. Like, yeah, we had to buy a new house. My grandparents, gave me and my husband the down payment for our house. It's like 89. No, whatever. It's like, who does that?
Hmm.
Like, where would you be if you started off and your down payment for your house was there? Luckily, military and all this stuff. But there's people who can't buy homes now or can't pay for college or can't do this stuff because nobody set them up. And my thing is, there's trust fund babies for a reason. Like, hey, there's little things that I can take off the table that make your life a little easier and set you and the generations after you up for success. And to say I'm going to give all that to one generation who may or may not do right by it, and get divorced and somebody else takes half. That's a lot of because Byron, you can be doing everything right. Something happened today, Tab getting half, she getting half. You know, so I don't know,
And I
man.
get it. I mean, I get the anti prenuptial, push anyway to say, like you say, we're starting off on the wrong foot, yada yada yada. I think it comes down to where I'm saying, hey, I want you to have this prenup, and we can talk about what the terms are of it, right? Maybe it is that you're not getting half, but you'll get 20% or whatever, 25% in the divorce, but the rest of it stays with my bloodline there, right? And so something like that, and then after that, y'all good, y'all do whatever y'all want to do, there. But for me, like a lot of my money's going into a trust for the most part anyway, there. So it's not one of those things that my kids are getting all of the insurance money or all of the assets or whatever. A lot of it is going in there just because of tax purposes, generational skipping, like that. I'm trying to set them up so that, hey, every grandchild, every great grandchild, every whatever, you get a Trump account, right? Like you're getting $10,000 as soon as that baby's born, going to 529 plan, college is paid for. You're getting whatever, coming out of that trust. So it's just stroking checks as kids are born, as grandkids are born, or whatever. That's how the trust is set up. So for me, it's not all going to be going to them anyway. So I don't necessarily personally need to have the prenup because I've already kind of set it up that way. But for the folks that when he's talking, this billionaire's talking, we're not talking $250,000. We're talking $250 million, right? That may be going to that child. At that point, like there is a point where it's like, no, you're getting a prenup, right? Like
Mhm.
you're not walking away with $250 million from my daughter. So I think it's at a certain income level, at a certain level that I'm putting that money down, you are getting a prenup. I just don't know
Yeah, because
where
I
that
mean,
is yet.
people are married for the money. You just coming to marry. If you're a prince, I'll marry you.
Hmm.
Like there's a reason. I don't think there's a lot of billionaire offspring who are struggling to find somebody to marry them. Because guess what? If it doesn't
Well,
work,
I think, I mean, I don't know how much convincing would be needed anyway. Most rich people enjoy being rich, and because they enjoy being rich, they're gonna do what it takes to protect themselves. And when you're in the billions of dollars, you got lawyers and stuff already advising you on how to manage your money and stuff.
but you know that'd
I
be.
I definitely would.
But
I
it's a.
don't think it would be. I don't think it would be an issue. I think most kids are
I could see that being a movie.
protecting themselves.
It sounds simple, but they'll find it's gonna be there's clauses and everything. Well, if he cheats or she cheats or does this or does that, the prenup is void. If it's it's I can see it being a movie. In the end, the husband kills the wife. But spoiler. But that's how it goes. It's somebody knows like, oh girl, don't pay that prenup no attention. Move to Colorado and do this or whatever states. There's a way around it. And you got to protect your assets, protect yourself. But let's go ahead and close it on out, fellas, unless we got another question. Or do we want to kind of talk about the comedian thing real fast? We're only at
We're about
46.
46. Yeah, we can talk through that if you want to. What's going on with the comedian?
So no, I like where you were going. Like the new Buff was kind of talking about do the
Kids
comedians
on
have the
stage.
freedom,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, to talk about the things that are
A
the
bit more
freedom or the
taboo.
talent I think it's not just freedom, the talent to be able to maneuver these political streets. Everybody can't. Back in the day, you can, there's no more fart jokes, right? You can't get away with just being as in your face and maybe not as you
Tactless.
got to be tactful these days, tactless as you were in the past. So you got to, it's, I think, the demographics have changed. And I think people are just more aware socially, not even just the cancel culture. It's people are probably a little more educated than we were 20 or 30 years ago. The expectations of what makes me laugh.
So first, let me ask y'all this: Are we even exaggerating how tough it is for comedians? Like, we know Dave Chappelle caught a lot of flack from the trans community because of his jokes about them. But other than that, are there jokes? I know you said some more made the joke about the dollar store, but are there like consistent jokes that people are now all of a sudden saying, "Hey, you can't make that joke anymore"?
I
Like, it
feel like,
seemed like it's still a lot of material for
yeah,
comedians, right?
yeah. But I think there's a lot of comedians who have had conversations about that. I've seen interviews where they talk about you got to be careful not to get canceled these days, and they're fighting for their right to have freedom of speech without being canceled.
They're afraid of college campuses for sure. They say that's one of the worst places to play now,
Yeah.
to do your
I
act.
think it's you gotta change with the times, right? Our comedians couldn't do blackface and go out there and shuck and jive, right? Like the comedy or the entertainment of the 90s or the 1800s is different than the comedy of the 1990s and 1980s. And so I think they just have to adjust with the times and they have to get with the times. Ali Sadiq is doing just fine with his comedy, right?
Talk about it.
So
That was my point.
it's not that it's so hard and this, that, and the other. It's that you're not funny anymore. Like, it's you lost whatever it was. Like Richard Pryor, I think could come and say the same jokes that Richard Pryor said back in the day. Because of his delivery, I think it would be fine. Right. Like, because he was really smart with how he did it. It's delivery more than it is content a lot of times. And that's why Chappelle gets away with so much stuff is because he's perfected the delivery of this very, very kind of crazy type of stuff that would get somebody canceled, right? I think that's the issue is that they just aren't as good as some of the ones that are able to either get away with it or that make it funny, right? And so if a lot of people kind of if they get offended by what they're saying, a lot of times it's because of the delivery wasn't there. Like with some more, there's always going to be some folks that have pushed back. I mean, we talked about Chappelle got people that push back. There's a
Mhm.
difference between getting
Absolutely.
pushback, people saying, "Hey, that wasn't funny" or whatever. We didn't find that funny. That happened all the way back. Bernie Mac, they went after him a bunch and everything. But what happens is it's not enough people to cancel you there because to your point, comedians are here to for satire. They're here to look at society and say, "Here's what we think," and make it funny. So I think it's fine. I think it's just they aren't as funny.
Would you say they're here to offend a little bit?
I think so. They
Yeah,
have to
here
toe
and
the
there?
line,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I think it depends on the comedian. Like, I think it's your style. And to toe the line, like, you have to be smart enough to know your audience and know what works for you. Pell is I think a lot of people might call him one of the most probably intelligent comics that we've ever seen. The way he's able
Mhm,
to maneuver and pick up on things that's going on in the world, talk about real uh political things going on, social things, all these things that we don't talk about. We talk about that he shines like, and then has um but then he comes with this zany in your face punchline, like super serious, super mellow, then all of a sudden and then you punch in the pussy. Like like where did that come from? Like, but he spent 12 minutes setting up this joke in a very calm, intellectual way, and then he hits it with this zinger. But you don't have to be shock and awe. Josh Johnson, to me, is
mhm,
completely different from Ali Sadiq. And I think that young brother is freaking
mhm.
hilarious.
Check them out. I
So
hadn't
he
checked
does
them out.
the Daily Show. Young
Yeah,
dude,
it's got the locks.
little
He always has
ponytail.
one
Yeah, yeah,
one hanging in
yeah.
front of his face.
He's like he plays the lame dude,
Yep.
but he just kind of sits and talk about. I feel like this dude comes with material like that because
He
he
reminds me
probably's at a
of
show.
Childish
Trevor,
Gambino a little bit, like that. Like that's the kind of comedy that he does. It's really funny like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
So he's
but
hitting on
you
that.
even look at like Gary Owens is one from our generation. He's a white dude that makes fun of black people and talks about black people, whatever. But because of how he delivers it, right? Because we kind of give him a pass and an invite to the cookout, he gets away with it. He doesn't get canceled when
But
he talks about black people.
but you
Bill
watch.
Burr too. Bill Burr is funny too.
Yeah.
But if you watch his shows, because people are like, "So what are your thoughts on Trump?" So I don't talk politics. Like I stay in my lane. Like this ain't. I don't do that. Like I'm
Hmm.
not smart enough to do that. I'm not trying to go down that. I'm not trying to. I know what's funny, and he'll say he's like, I'm funny to black people. Like he's even said like I'm funny to black people.
Right.
And so he knows his audience. He knows what works for him, and it still works. Some more to me is on that Gary Owens level, but Gary Owens adapts to the times. I didn't listen to her show. I saw a couple of clips,
Clips.
and it sound like a show from 1997.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
If you'd have told me this was Comic View, I'd be like, okay, cool. It didn't sound like 2026.
Hmm. That's the same
It
thing we said
doesn't.
about Monique when she got up there. Like it felt dated. Like her special felt dated. So again,
I don't think
it's
that's all.
they were funny. They haven't grown with the times either because they just weren't doing it throughout the years, and now they're coming back and trying to use those same. It's like I'm gonna get you sucker when old boy got out of jail and he put on the pimp suit with the fish and everything like that. And he thought he was super clean. That's what I feel like some of these like older comedians are doing. They're coming back with the same material or material from that date, and they're hoping that the audience has grown with them and they're the same age, and so leaning on
There's
the
an audience for them.
nostalgia.
There's an
There's an
audience for
audience
them.
for them, but you still have to kind of keep it up with time because those people that grew up with you and came to see you because they remember some more from 1990 or 2000. They came to see you because of that. They've been listening to comedians for the last 15, 20 years. So you still have to kind of grow with it. You can't go back and still be kind of your delivery, your punchlines, everything be the same as they were in the early 2000s.
I mean, you actually hit on something. I think uh, we've aged out. So out of 100 people that might have went to some more show in 1997 or 2001, half of those people might have matured in the things that were funny to them in 2001 or funny to them in, you know, 2026. But also, you got to think back in the day, Comic View and Def Comedy Jam were our gateway to comedy. Those were the only way you saw black comics.
Mhm.
So we were yearning for that.
It
You know,
allowed
unless you watch a
comedians to
video or something
sharpen
like
their
that.
skills too. It allowed them to sharpen their skills too, to be on a televised audience and a live audience.
But yeah, I agree. But what I'm saying is the fact that we saw the same comics over. Like we didn't know. Like you had to look up Josh Johnson, right? Like it's where you can flip on Facebook and all of a sudden you got Kev on stage, Tony Baker. All these people are coming out of the blue that were maybe they were producing skits and now they're stand up comics, or they were stand up comics and now they're producing. Like we have so much access to comedy that we find more people to cater to us. Then we just like, okay, Samore is a female comic, and so we had to look at Samore and what's Linnell, and like, we only had 3 or 4 female comics.
I think it's easy to decide what's funny and what's not funny, but I'm always curious on what's offensive and what's you're being too sensitive. Because I feel like we
Okay.
keep coming back to Dave Chappelle, but I felt like that was probably like as even of a divide of people saying y'all being too sensitive versus no, he's being offensive, because he withstood the council, but he did lose like a lot of people that I follow that used to rock with him. They're not trans. They're like straight black males or straight black females, or a mixture, but they don't rock with him. Like
Yeah.
they're like, he's not funny anymore. He punches down and all that kind of stuff. So I guess I'm always curious on like what or who decides what's offensive and
Great question.
who's being too sensitive. You know what I
Did you
mean?
Let me ask you this question. Did you even know you can cancel somebody in the 90s and early 2000s?
Not
I think this is it. Cancel culture is a culture. Like we didn't even like,
yeah.
oh, so we don't got to rock with him anymore. Like that's what I'm saying, because all you got to do is you can go on Facebook, Instagram, and unfollow them. Like if what I was saying
Yeah.
is, think about you tune into Comic View, you tune into Def Comedy Jam, and you sat there for that hour, that 30 minutes, and that was all the black comedy you were going to get until the next week or whatever. You had to accept what you could get. There was times people were not funny, but you didn't turn the show because it's
Hopefully
all
the
we
next
got.
one. No, hopefully the next one.
Yeah, hopefully the next one. Are you
And
ready
if
for the
they
next
did
comedian?
offend you, you literally had to like write a letter and mail it in, and you weren't gonna hear back from them or anything. Now we can get on the
Yeah,
podcast, we can do a think
yeah,
piece, we can put it on Facebook. It's very
yeah,
easy for things to get critical mass to be able to
yeah,
cancel somebody now.
yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
hard to be able to do that back then. I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get on the
Think
AOL
about
chat
cancel.
room and be like, they
What I
did
hate
this.
is what I hate is it takes a few people, and then a lot of the support that they get to support them canceling somebody, a lot of those people didn't even watch the special. They just watched the clip. They don't get the full context. They just going
Yeah,
by what
it's
these
easy,
group of people have said,
but
and they're just going along with it.
that's perfect. Now we'll leave it. You don't even have to get the full story, like to
Yeah.
cancel. Like all you got to do is send a clip or whatever, or read a text. What would it take? Let's go back to Chappelle. Chappelle, we would say, had probably one of the biggest backlashes of the comedians in recent history. What would it take for him to have the same backlash in 1998? You know how many letters, how many times we would have had to I would have to send you the VHS of his show to show you what he said. And then you would send it to Razi. Or like it was so hard. It was the fact that who could you cancel? It was too much work versus all I got to do is look at your post, watch the 2-minute video, like is gone viral. Like stuff didn't go viral. Like you can cancel, but it was too much work. I didn't have time to cancel anybody. I didn't even know. I didn't have the time, and I didn't have the bandwidth because I didn't know. Imagine we canceled Chappelle. We watched it. We were at my house. We watched it. Dog, we ain't fucking with Chappelle no more. Guess what? It stopped right there. Right? It's
3. That's it. We
yeah,
canceled
like
them,
dog.
but
Dog, y'all
Yeah.
seen the show? We don't rock with Chappelle. Like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it's
you could cancel. I mean, it would get to the point. The only way you would cancel is if you pissed off the execs, or your ratings got so bad, right? Like, oh, when that person came on, everybody changed the channel because they were just that bad. That's when you start seeing, or they put them in a movie and nobody went to the movie or whatever, so the person got it. Wouldn't be canceled. It's like they just got like they just fizzled out, more so
yeah.
than canceled.
It wasn't proactive. It's just like I don't rock with Chappelle. If enough people said somebody get canceled, we wouldn't even know it.
Like, man, I ain't
Ab
seen
and her
Shabbat.
girl was watching the same movie, and they like, we don't rock with Chappelle no more. And then we didn't have we didn't go viral. We're not marching in the streets. We're not doing all that stuff. It's you had to be exec. You had to be somebody important, and people fizzled out. Just that's kind of the story. Like they've had their 2 minutes of fame or whatever they say, and that's
15
it.
minutes
Then
of
we just
fame and that's
okay,
it.
yeah, whatever it is. That's kind of the norm. We expect. Is that what it is? Do people just phase out? No, no. Cancel is different because people just aren't popular anymore.
Right. But like we said, I think they do just fizzle. The cancel, what we say, they tried to cancel Kanye, but he kept dropping bangers. They tried to cancel R. Kelly, but he kept dropping bangers, right? Like K. Michelle didn't drop any bangers, and so that's how she got canceled. Like, it's one of those
She's
things
not
that
canceled. She's still touring. Chrisette Michelle.
Crescent Michelle, that's it. Yeah, Crescent
Yeah,
Michelle.
K Michelle still rocking.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. So
And Pate, what up? Uh, but no, yeah, we haven't canceled. And the thing about there was no momentum. They were telling us we should try to cancel those people in the 90s. It wasn't us that we decided that we were going to, we weren't saying, oh, let's cancel R. Kelly. You had journalists and people telling us what to do. And we were like, no, versus I think canceling now is kind of grassroots.
yeah, well,
It's
and
the
that's
people
that's the
saying we're
problem,
upset.
right? Like you didn't have a platform to actually get that grassroots together. Like,
That's what I'm
that's the
saying.
hard part.
What would it take to cancel somebody in 1998?
Yeah, yeah.
So, all right, fellas, let's go ahead and close it on out before we get canceled.
So we've been going for a while, man, and since we've been going, I had a birthday shindig, and I just want to thank everybody who showed up and came through. I definitely want to thank my wife for putting everything together and doing what she did. It was a complete weekend, man, and I just appreciate her efforts and just her planning, just trying to think of everything from making sure because I had people that came from out of town that flew in, and she didn't want them to just come for just a dinner. She wanted to like put together something to where we could kind of hang out that Friday as well as that Saturday. So Natia Cumberland, Corey Cumberland, Eli, Leslie, Ferg, Z, Razi, Leah, Sherman and Terry, Mo, Miles. I knew I shouldn't have did this because I knew I was gonna forget names. Basically, everybody that showed up, Eugene, Aaron, his wife, everybody who showed up, man. Because not only did you show up to celebrate me, but it was one of the coldest weekends in DC history since I've been living up here. It was freezing, man.
Mhm.
And you guys put up with it, man. So you two brothers, thank you, man. Mrs. Evans, really, really appreciated your efforts, man. It's a birthday I won't forget. Like I won't forget it. To have people, come from Texas, Alabama, and Florida, as well as the DMV area, is much appreciated. Make sure you are subscribed to Three Brothers No Sense. We're on YouTube. We're on all podcast platforms as well. And again, just want to shout out Truth Be Told Sports, man. King Hooley, man, you guys are doing an amazing job over there, man. I had so much fun doing that show. I do think I got cheated on the contest because there is a such thing as defensive holding versus pass interference. We just gonna call it a little home cooking. There was some home cooking going on Truth Be Told Sports, man. But it was a great time, man. And Hooley is like a big supporter of the show too, so we appreciate that part as well, man. But you guys are doing great over there, man. And, man, have us back on anytime you want, man, because we enjoyed that shit.
I'm not forgiving you. Play fair. Did you see they actually apologize?
Did they?
To,
Okay.
to me though, to me, 'cause it was like, what was it? Oh, I forgot what the question, but it was how many yards is a pass interference? And I go college football because I don't have a football team right now. Well, I'm a Texan fan by proxy now, but so I'm thinking college football, like, oh, pass interference, 15 yards, and spotted a foul. Like, hold on, we didn't say anything, And he's like, no, we said it, and so he went back, listened to it, and said, Ferg, I apologize. You know what I'm saying? We didn't clarify, so
That's what's
it
up.
it it did help. It didn't help then though.
By the way, Hollow Point, you got one of the best names in the podcast game, by the way. Hollow
Yeah.
Point is just a dope ass name,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
So shout out to you too.
For sure.
All right, what you got, Razi?
A couple things, man. I call balls and strikes, and so when Florida gets it right, I call them out when they get it wrong, and but I got to call them out when they get it right too. So the Florida Senate passed what they call the Teddy Bridgewater Act. And so what it does is it allows coaches K through 12 to spend up to $15,000 of their personal money to help their students or their so for the folks who don't know what happened, Teddy Bridgewater got in a lot of trouble for basically like buying dinners. He got suspended for buying like dinners and like materials and equipment and stuff for his kids that he was coaching, and they were saying that was inappropriate, blah 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 blah. So they suspended him from being coach because it was against their rules at the time. But now with this law, if it actually gets passed, hopefully Ron DeSantis doesn't do anything stupid, then he'll be able to coaches will be able to spend that money up to that $15,000, which I think is huge for folks. So
That's gonna be hilarious. And now you're gonna have kids. Coach, why can't you buy us? Nigga, mind your business. And mentioning that, shout out to Mr. Stickman for them Papa John's pizzas that he used to bring when we played football back in the day, man. Them things were clutch.
Yeah,
Man,
especially
he
Papa
bought one for
John's.
the
He was
whole
doing
team.
nice.
Was it Papa John's, Buff?
One Little Caesars.
No, I feel like it was Papa John's.
Might have been Papa John. I think it was Papa John.
Yeah, because we would tear that box in half. You would split it.
Mm-hmm. So only other thing, man, the great replacement theory might be right, or at least true. And so folks who don't know what the great replacement theory is white people think that they're gonna get replaced. And studies are showing for the first time in history or in American history, minority births outpaced white births. So in 2025, you had more minority births than you had white births here in the US. They may be on to something when they say they're going to get replaced. So, because this is a trend that's probably going to happen, and that's probably why Trump is working so hard to get all these immigrants out because of minority births. So
Fake
just to let you
news.
know,
Don't believe it, white people. You guys are still birthing at a higher rate, and you're producing God's children.
Duh.
That's all I got, man. That's all I got.
Couple of things, Buff. Happy birthday again. Actually, I was been so busy since I've gotten back from DC. It was cold in hell. Next time, let us know that we need to have our R&B coats on. Shout out to R&B coat, man. That might have been when I say
the homie Smitty, Aaron Smith showed up with the fur.
That had me like, hey man, I need to get me an R&B coat. So fellas, we got to get an R&B coat trip.
They are warm.
Yeah,
I will admit.
they are.
Yeah,
They are warm.
Yeah, so I know who wasn't cold, but it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure being up there, man. You showed us a great time. We had the tour. I just say we had the tour. I'm not gonna say what time we had the tour.
Latest tour I've ever given.
Ever. I just knew something would go down. I feel like that was the beginning of a bad movie.
Right.
But really enjoyed it. You deserved it. It was great to celebrate you. It was good to see you and the missus, Razi and Leah, Cooley and Terry. It was just it was real cool just to see everybody. Got to see Goodman, and then I had a couple of friends come through. So it was good times. Got to go to the National African American History Museum. That's always a good thing. It was just fun, man. Thank you for being so hospitable, Tab. You did a great job. You should be
For
proud of
sure,
yourself.
for sure.
I hope Buff rubbed your feet after all that. But outside of that, man, it was just a great time. And outside of that, man, I want to thank our fans for sticking with us. Apologize for not being as consistent as we should be.
Usually are.
We try to be. Yeah, we try. It's just life been recently, and so appreciate you sticking with us. We promise to try to do better. I ain't gonna say we're gonna do better. I say we promise to try to do better. But with that being said, Six Rules of Podcast. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Talk to you next week.
I saw you
Ish.
thinking on that one. You got a little rusty.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That lets you know it's been too long.